Давай, вперед.
Все,
Вперед,
идем. Давай. Идем.
вперед, пошли. Бегом.
Pare di assistere al triste testimonio del sogno corale di pace, mentre si fanno spazio i solisti della guerra.
Pope Francis shared these stark words with the civil authorities of Hungary while on his trip to the Central European country.
Nel mondo in cui viviamo, tuttavia, la passione per la politica comunitaria e per la multilateralità sembra un bel ricordo del passato.
Pope Francis returned to Rome on the evening of Sunday, April the 30th from Budapest, completing his 41st Apostolic Voyage abroad. During his 3-day visit, Pope Francis engaged in 7 different events and delivered 6 speeches. The motto for this papal trip was "Christ is our future," an apt theme to carry with him following his brief stop in Hungary in September of 2021 for the conclusion of the country's International Eucharistic Congress. At the time, Francis pledged to return to the country. Hungary is a historically Christian nation with a rich tradition, and Budapest itself, the city of bridges, was forged 150 years ago out of 3 separate cities. While there was much joy on the part of the Hungarians for the Holy Father's visit, there was a palpable cloud hanging over the entire stay. That cloud was the war raging in nearby Ukraine. Hungary and Ukraine share 85 miles of border. 150,000 ethnic Hungarians live in western Ukraine. Hungary has welcomed 1.5 million war refugees from Ukraine since Russia invaded the country.
Nel corpo diplomatico,
Pope Francis spoke about showing openness to others when he addressed Hungary's government on the first day of his visit on Friday. He met with Prime Minister Viktor Orbán and with President Katalin Novak.
Che bello invece costruire un'Europa centrata sulla persona e sui popoli, dove vi siano politiche effettive per la natalità e la famiglia. Abbiamo paesi in Europa con la media di età di 46-48 anni. Perseguite con attenzione in questo paese dove nazioni diverse siano una famiglia in cui si custodiscono la crescita e la singolarità di ciascuno.
On the second day of the papal trip, Pope Francis met with blind and disabled children and traveled to St. Elizabeth's Church, where he met the refugees and poor gathered there. After his morning appointments, Pope Francis held a meeting with Archbishop Hilarion, the Russian Orthodox Metropolitan Archbishop of Budapest in Hungary, who previously served as the head of the Department of External Relations of the Patriarchate of Moscow. The Holy Father then met with 12,000 young people at the city's sports stadium, urging them to reach out to the vulnerable and encouraging them to accept Christ's forgiveness. On the third day, while speaking to more than 50,000 people gathered in the capital's Kossuth Lajos Square during an outdoor Mass on Good Shepherd Sunday, Pope Francis called on Hungarians to be open and inclusive, reflecting on how Jesus wants his flock to share the abundant life they've received from him. Throughout the packed 3-day visit, Pope Francis's message warning against the evils of abortion and gender ideology during his address to the civil authorities carried a strong resonance in the Christian nation.
E questa è la via nefasta delle colonizzazioni ideologiche che eliminano le differenze, come nel caso della cosiddetta cultura gender, che eliminano le differenze, o antepongono alla realtà della vita concetti riduttivi di libertà, ad esempio vantando come conquista un insensato diritto all'aborto, che è sempre una tragica sconfitta.
While Pope Francis has praised the country for being a leader in combating gender ideology and assisting persecuted Christians in other countries, the Holy Father and Prime Minister Viktor Orbán have been at odds on the Prime Minister's call to curb migrants from the Middle East and Africa. Pope Francis reminds us to welcome the stranger and that God's loving embrace is for everyone.
Gesù buon pastore ci chiama per nome e si prende cura di noi con infinita tenerezza. Egli è la porta e chi entra attraverso di lui ha la vita eterna. Egli dunque è il nostro futuro, un futuro di vita in abbondanza.